I want to start this video off by painting a bit of a picture. Let's say, hypothetically of course, there was a player in the NFL who was first in the league in terms of pressures with 72, which just so happened to be 15 more pressures than the guy in second place. Let's also say this player was top 10 in terms of sacks and TFLs. 7.5 sacks would make him tied for 7th in the league, and 10 TFLs would make him tied for 9th in the league. Let's also say if you rounded up all the players in the league who had rushed the passer at least 100 times this year, he had the best pressure rate, with 21.8%. Let's say this player also caused 4 turnovers by creating pressure, which would be second in the NFL according to Next Gen Stats, and it only put him 1 turnover behind the guy in first place. And let's say this guy also, just to further pad out the point, played for a defense that was top 5 in terms of EPA per play allowed, EPA per pass allowed, and team pressure rate. If this hypothetical player existed, you'd probably say he has a pretty strong Defensive Player of the Year case, right? By all accounts, this would be an elite season for any pass rusher in the league. Hell, 7.5 sacks and 72 pressures, that's as many sacks and far more pressures than TJ Watt, who is currently leading the Defensive Player of the Year odds according to Vegas. But what if I told you this player wasn't a hypothetical? This player exists, and he's playing in the AFC South, for the Houston Texans more specifically. This player is none other than Danielle Hunter. Not Will Anderson, who is actually top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year odds, but his teammate, who is not anywhere near the top 5 in terms of Defensive Player of the Year odds. This is insane to me. Danielle Hunter, in my eyes, is one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and has been for a couple years now. A lot of people know he's good, but he's never quite gotten credit for just how great he is. And this year, I think, is a prime example of that. The numbers he's putting up, and quite frankly, the things he's showing on tape, are out of this world. So I wanted to make a video and kind of talk about why I think, in my opinion, through 11 weeks, he's the Defensive Player of the Year. If you ended the season right now, I would hand the award to Danielle Hunter and not think twice about it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the tape so I can show you exactly why I feel this way about Danielle Hunter this season. All right, we're going to start off here against my Chicago Bears, unfortunately, against my favorite tackle in the NFL, Mr. Darnell Wright. Having a bit of a rough year, dealing with some injuries, different things going on. But Danielle Hunter here lined up as the defensive end on the left side of your screen. He makes Darnell look quite silly. So just letting this play, there's not a whole lot to talk about. He fakes inside, which gets right to kind of overset with this foot. He's going to fake that inside and then loop around, and it's going to be curtains. Caleb doesn't even see him coming. Darnell Wright tries to go low. Danielle Hunter just brushes him off in full pursuit of 18 and just drops him. Just absolutely obliterates him. Not a whole lot to talk about with this rep. Just really impressed by the footwork. Kind of taking advantage of Darnell Wright being a heavier player. You put too much weight on one side, you're going to get off balance, and that allows Hunter to just take full advantage of the leverage of the play, and also take full advantage of a young quarterback in his second career game. Thankfully, much improved since then, but obviously this one was a rough one for Justin, and Danielle certainly didn't do him any favors. All right, so we just saw Hunter use his footwork to take advantage of a young tackle, get to a young quarterback. Kind of made it easy on him. Darnell Wright really bit hard on the inside step. So this rep, we're going to see, first of all, Danielle Hunter against another young quarterback in Anthony Richardson, taking on a younger tackle. We're on the left side of the line here, so we got Hunter lined up on the right side of our screen. And Hunter's going to do a great job here once again. You see, he attacks the outside shoulder this time. That's going to cause this tackle to overset. He opens up to the outside. You see his feet, the way they're open to the outside. He's expecting to absorb this contact on the edge, and that would obviously allow him to wall off Hunter in an ideal world. However, instead, what's about to happen is Hunter's going to plant that outside foot, and then he's going to cut inside. Now the tackle has to quickly frame himself, and you can see his feet are too close together. He's not ready for Hunter to attack the inside shoulder, which is exactly what he's about to do. Gets inside the chest, pulls off the rip move. You see the arm up in the air, and then he is going to wall off this tackle and just drive. He has really strong legs, really strong lower body. So he's just going to drive through the tackle, gets his arm up, wraps up Anthony Richardson with one arm, mind you, still using that other arm to hold up the tackle. And he's going to be able to swallow him up. It takes him a second to get him down because Anthony Richardson is a big-ass quarterback. But a really, really good job of getting himself into the backfield, manipulating this tackle, and then swallowing up the young quarterback. I don't know if there was a penalty called on this play, but it feels like there should have been because, there's a pretty blatant hold there. So, on top of everything else, if he doesn't end up getting to Richardson, if Richardson gets his ball out, say he checks it down here to, I'm going to assume that is Alec Pierce. I can't quite tell, but, a safe assumption. Yeah, there's the 4. Say he checks that down to Alec Pierce there, you're drawing the hold. So that's a win-win there for Mr. Danielle Hunter. And this rep, I really like it because he's combining 2 of the aspects of his game to really win. You start out with the good footwork, and then you turn it into power, stowing off that tackle. And that's the beauty of Hunter. He's a very multifaceted player. He's not just quick. He doesn't just have great footwork. He doesn't just have great hand movement. He doesn't just have really good strength. He has it all, and he knows how to combine it and play it against and leverage it against different tackles. And it's really quite impressive. I really enjoy watching Danielle Hunter rush the passer because of all of that different stuff that goes into it. All right, here we've got Hunter against Green Bay lined up on the left side of our screen up against the right tackle. And this is just going to be another really good rep. Nothing too crazy to say about this one. You see he's actually going to attack the outside shoulder of the tackle this time. I believe it's Zach Tom. I'm pretty sure he wears 15 Green Bay. And he does a good job of kind of hesitating here, keeping the tackle on his toes, like what's coming at me, and then he just gets his arm out, creates some distance between him and the tackle. You see that a little bit of distance is going to allow Hunter to kind of manipulate the tackle in whatever way he wants. He's going to go around the corner and then end up getting to Jordan Love, sacking him down at the 1-yard line. This is one of those ones where, he's not doing anything fancy. He's just playing smart, gets his arm up, gets around the tackle, gets to the quarterback, does what he needs to. Just a really, really solid, simple sack. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple to win, and that's exactly what he did there. And again, that's kind of the beauty of Danielle Hunter. He can get crazy or he can keep it simple. Either way, he's going to get to your quarterback, and there's very little you can do about it. All right, we're going to have another inside-outside move against a young QB. Drake May here. We've got Hunter, and you can see this tackle's jumping quick. Like, he knows he has a hard assignment, in front of him. This play, I actually started recording after the ball was snapped, so it's not like that was a false start or anything. But you see Hunter does a good job. He fakes that inside. You see he takes that step inside, forces the tackle to think he's going to attack the inside shoulder, which makes sense. You have a lane here. It all tracks. And then he's going to attack the outside shoulder, and kudos to the tackle. He gets his hand in Hunter's chest. Hunter recognizes this, gets low, goes underneath of him, a little bit of a dip move there. And then he's in hot pursuit of Drake May. May's about to throw the ball. Hunter just swallows him. Ball pops out. Texans recover on the 10-yard line. You give your offense a great opportunity to get in the end zone there. But again, the manipulation of tackles here. First couple steps are inside, plants the foot, cuts outside, realizes that he's not going to be able to play this simply, because the tackle does get a hand in there. Once again, credit to him. So Hunter goes, all right, I'm going low, gets underneath of him, and then absolutely obliterates Drake May for the strip sack and the turnover. All right, and the final rep we're going to take a look at before we get to the actual Cowboys game, the meat of this video. I would say this is probably the most impressive win by any lineman this season, just because the context, right? Primetime game, up against the Detroit Lions, against the best tackle in the sport. As much as I love Trent Williams, I would have said something different a year ago. I do think Penei Sewell at this point is the best tackle in football. I don't think that's a crazy take. You're going up against the best tackle in football, and you're about to absolutely embarrass him in front of a national audience. This gets crazy. Because the thing is, Danielle Hunter, he doesn't care who's lined up across from him. It could be Penei Sewell. It could be Terrence Steele, like we're going to see here in these next couple clips. It could be me, it could be Prime Joe Thomas. No matter who it is, he's going to find a way to win. And that is exactly what we're going to witness here. So right away, you see Penei Sewell jumps out to meet Danielle Hunter. That is showing a lot of respect to Hunter. And you see Hunter is going to recognize that, and he does his usual. He starts outside, he's going to cut inside. That's going to force Sewell to assume he's protecting his inside shoulder, which again makes sense because jumping outside like this, you're leaving a lot of grass. And that would make sense for a defensive end to want to attack that. Sewell's trying to trap him in it. And then what does Hunter do? He pulls off the nastiest spin ever. Just to replay it one more time. Steps outside, steps inside, gets Sewell to bite inside, spins him, sends him flying into the shadow realm. And then Hunter's going to close in on Goff, clobber him. Ends up being an incomplete pass that should have been intercepted. I mean, that's right in the breadbasket for whoever the DB is back there. I believe it's Derek Stingley. It is. I know Stingley walked away with one in this game, but maybe that should have been another one. But regardless, I mean, I could sit here and watch this move all day, man. This is an edge rusher that, like, nobody talks about. You know, I can think even back when he was on the Minnesota Vikings as a Bears fan. Danielle Hunter is always an edge I've had a lot of respect for. Doesn't hurt that my podcast co-host, The Geek Slays, which, by the way, if you're not subscribed already, Run the North podcast in the description below. He's a big Vikings fan, has always preached that Danielle's one of the best edges in football. And you don't hear people talk about him like that when it's very clear that he is. I mean, this is just an incredible move, and to be able to embarrass the best tackle in football like that is impressive. And it's not like this is the end of the game. Penei Sewell's tired. This is the first quarter. You know, this is early in the game when both guys should be at like even playing field in terms of stamina. And Hunter still just absolutely obliterates Sewell on this play. Getting into the Cowboys game now, I'm going to keep this first one brief because this isn't a pass rushing rep. This is a run defense rep. You know, if you're going to be a good edge rusher in this league, you got to be able to do both. And as someone who is a big believer in that, I like seeing what these guys can do against the run. And no surprise, Hunter is definitely capable of making some plays, and I really like what he does here. So you'll see once this ball is snapped, he's one-on-one with the tight end. He is trying to attack this gap here. Does a great job of getting the shoulder into the tight end. And then that's going to allow 32 back here to kind of take the outside. You've got Henry To'oTo'o kind of taking this gap. So now, you know, there's really nowhere for Dowdle to go. You've also got Azeez Al-Shaair in this gap and 23 in this gap as well. So this is taking up a lot of space. Hunter playing this tight end like this is doing a great job ensuring that that gap is going to be filled. So then Dowdle doesn't know where to go. You see someone flies off the edge. He's trying to cut into this lane. Hunter recognizes that, so he's further driving this tight end into the lane. Someone ends up diving at Dowdle's feet, forces him to spin. Hunter has completely, walled off this area of the field. You're not getting this way if you're Dowdle. You have to go in this direction, and you've got To'oTo'o barreling down on you. You've got 32 barreling down on you. You basically have nowhere to go, and To'oTo'o ends up getting the TFL. Obviously, Hunter doesn't make the big sexy play here, but he does a really good job of fitting the run. This is really good gap discipline, and I feel like that's something that not a lot of people give players credit for, being able to do something like that. And then in the process as well, just burying the guy trying to block you. We looked over that part. Sure, he had a little help from Rico Dowdle's back, but still a fun rep. Just really, really good gap discipline, fits the run very well, allows his guys to come in and clean up. And, stereotypically speaking, that's the job of the D-end or the defensive lineman in this type of assignment. You eat up the blocks, let your guys on the second level come in and clean up. So just A+ teamwork right there from Danielle Hunter against the run. All right, another run defense rep here. We've got Hunter lined up on the right side of your screen, and this is just going to be a veteran type of play. Right now, the Cowboys are showing a heavy formation out of 13 personnel, 3 tight ends on Hunter's side of the field. They're going to end up running to the strong side of the field after they motion this tight end, who's going to serve now as almost more of an H-back, comes across as a lead blocker. We've also got 73 here pulling. Hunter recognizes this right away. You see his eyes are in the backfield. Because of that, he's actually going to set himself up wide, right? He's going to get a lot of depth into the backfield. and that way he's able to slip both blockers. He completely takes himself out of 85's path, and 85, obviously, his job is just to clean house, take care of anyone that runs in front of the lane they're trying to set up for Dowdle. And then the goal of 73 here is to wall off Hunter so Dowdle can follow the lead blocker through. And Hunter's going to do a great job of slipping that block, using his long arms to wrap up Dowdle and bringing him down for a loss of like 3 or 4 there. Just a really, really smart play. Eyes consistently in the backfield. Doesn't fall for any of the bullshit. Doesn't fall for any of the eye candy. Slips that block, as I said. Wraps up the running back and brings him down for a big old loss. I know the run stuffing and the run defense isn't the sexy stuff, but to me, this is the fun stuff. So I'm happy to see that Hunter had a big game against Dallas in both facets of defense. All right, this one here again, Hunter just not falling for any eye candy. We've got him lined up here on the right side of your screen. The Cowboys are going to run some play action. First of all, they're bringing a man in motion. They snap it while he's coming across. So you've got one guy moving here. You've got the tight end moving up. And then you've got the fake handoff here on the play action. A lot of movement. Danielle Hunter is in the middle of all of it. And he does a great job. He trails the ball, sees that the running back doesn't have it, plants his feet, redirects, and starts hunting down the quarterback. And you see we have to throw this ball a little bit earlier than we might want to. I'm going to move my little tools up here. We have to launch this ball a little bit earlier than we probably want to off a less than ideal base because of Hunter's presence. And you'll see, obviously, with this kind of throw, you want to put this ball out in front of the receiver, out in front of the tight end in this instance. And what's going to happen? He's going to throw it kind of behind him a little bit. The tight end ends up having to completely stop in his tracks, lean back and catch this ball, and he can't do it. The ball ends up hitting the ground, incomplete, doesn't allow the catch to survive to the ground. And that is all because of Hunter. Like, I know Cooper Rush isn't a good quarterback. I'm not sitting here pretending like he just, made prime Aaron Rodgers goof up this throw. But what we're getting here is not letting a quarterback get comfortable, keeping him on his toes, and forcing him to fuck up a pretty routine, pretty simple, essentially a layup of a throw downfield for some chunk yards. Just because you read the play correctly, you didn't fall for the eye candy once again, you didn't bite on the play action, and you just did your job as the edge on a naked bootleg. All right, now getting back to some more normal pass rushing stuff here. We've got Hunter lined up on the right side of your screen, and you can see he's way out wide. Look at all that space between him and the tackle, Terrence Steele here. He's going to take full advantage of that. So once this ball is snapped, Hunter uses that space to cut across. And because he's lined up so wide, you see Steele is going to get a lot of depth in his stance here, right? As he fires off the ball, he's going to get a lot of depth in his set. And that is going to allow Hunter to just cut across his face. You see, he gets the arm inside the tackle, cuts across, does some hand fighting, gets into the backfield, and forces Cooper Rush to just spike that ball into the dirt. Doesn't even let the play develop a little bit. He just does a great job manipulating, knowing what he's going to get. He knows if he lines up wide, then this tackle is going to set up deeper than normal, and that's going to allow him to slip through this little bit of space right there. And obviously knowing that he is much, much quicker than big old Terrence Steele, he takes full advantage, makes Cooper Rush uncomfortable, and kills the play in its tracks. All right, this is a really good display of hand fighting from Hunter, who once again is lined up very, very wide. And what we're going to see here, once this ball is snapped, we're going to bring the running back in motion. You know it's a passing play. So Hunter is going to take a big step into Steele, and once again, he knows Steele is going to set a little bit deeper because he's lining up a little bit wider. You see the difference in Guyton versus Steele here. It's pretty noticeable. So Hunter's going to do a great job of hand fighting. He gets his hands up at the exact same time as Steele, and because he's quicker, he's better with his hands. He's able to take advantage of that, uses that arm to kind of like anchor himself as he bends the corner here, gets up around Steele. He's got two hands on him. He doesn't care, and he's just going to wrap up the quarterback, grabs him up around the shoulder pads, pulls him into him, and then brings him down for his first of 2 sacks on the day. Just watching that in full speed once again, Just does a great job with the hand fighting, manipulating his opponent, knowing that the guy across from him just isn't quite as good with his hands as he is, and that results in a big ol' sack for a big ol' loss. All right, this is a huge play. 4th and 2 inside the red zone. Dallas obviously wants a touchdown. I say huge play. It's not like the game was close at this point. It's just, big implications on this play. Got Danielle lined up on the right side, just outside of the tight end. And Dallas is going to run a speed out here, which I hate it. Horrible fucking play call. But regardless, Hunter is going to be one-on-one with the tight end, and then Steele's going to come in and help. But you see Hunter has no interest in that. He's staring down the football. I know that line didn't go to the ball, but just pretend it did. He's staring down the football, and he does a great job of playing that aggressively. So he is going to wall off the edge here. So if Cooper Rush wants to keep running, maybe scramble out, he's not getting anywhere. That's not going to happen. So instead, Hunter keeps playing aggressively. That's going to force Cooper Rush to step up and deliver the ball. He's going to have to step up and deliver this throw. Hunter making him very uncomfortable. And you see a touchdown breaking right here. You've got this receiver who has all of this grass in front of him. You have Azeez Al-Shaair all the way out here. With the way his feet are set, there's no way he's going to be able to cut inside and make a play on this ball. Henry To'oTo'o is too playing in between to do anything. Maybe the safety could come down and cut it off. But by all accounts, this should, more times than not be a touchdown pass. But because Danielle Hunter is forcing Cooper Rush to step up, he's making him uncomfortable. He has to make this throw from a really awkward platform. His feet are super close together. He had to hop. He was about to run into one of his linemen. This ball is going to sail over the receiver's head. If that ball is on target, at the very least, you're converting your first down. You needed 2 yards. You're getting probably about down to the 1, maybe the inch yard line. No, it's overthrown. Turnover on downs. No, nothing. Empty possession. Primarily because Danielle Hunter completely jacks up this really bad play call. Honestly, as much as I want to gas up Hunter for this play, I almost want to put the failure more so on the play call. But regardless, Hunter just, as a DN, you can't call the plays for the offense. You take what the offense gives you. And on this play, he absolutely does that. Makes Cooper Rush uncomfortable. Ends up throwing it out of the back of the end zone. It's incomplete. No touchdown. Just good work there, keeping the quarterback on his toes, quite literally. All right. Once again, Danielle Hunter against Terrence Steele here on the left side of your screen. And we're going to see some more footwork. Tell me if you've seen this one before, right? Releases outside, bounces inside, bounces back outside. Terrence Steele gets a hand on him, bumps that hand off. Doesn't even do anything fancy to do it. He just throws his shoulder up, and it's enough to send Steele's hands away. Turns the corner, starts to make Cooper Rush uncomfortable. He's going to settle for the check down and ends up spiking it in the dirt in front of his receiver. Just a very, very simple play there. Again, we've seen him do this a couple times. First step is to the outside, second step's to the inside, third step is back to the outside, a little Euro step, if you will, and then ends up forcing the incompletion just with his pressure, with making the quarterback uncomfortable. Did a very, very good job on this play. All right, I have a confession to make about that last clip. While it was a good rep by Hunter, he did win his rep, he did get pressure on the quarterback, all that kind of stuff. The main reason why I showed it was because it was set up for this play. Because when I do these, unless I'm talking about fullbacks, in which case I'll just talk about every single rep they win because that's fun. When I make videos like this, I'm trying to show off different things, especially with this Hunter video where I'm so adamant that he can win in different ways. I don't want to just do a bunch of plays where I'm like, wow, look at the footwork, look at the footwork, look at the footwork, because I feel like that's established, right? We know from the first couple plays I showed, Hunter has really good footwork. So instead, that play was to show you that he's got a Euro step in his bag. Why did I want to show you he has a Euro step in his bag? Well, it's because of this play right here. A little bit later in the game, we've got Hunter lined up against Terrence Steele once again, this time with a running back on his side of the field. He's getting a little extra cushion there, Mr. Terrence Steele is. So we'll go ahead and snap this ball, and you see right away, plants the foot, steps outside, he's going to step back inside, and you have Zeke back there as the help. So you see plants the foot, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turns the Euro step into a spin move. You've got the extra protection out wide. You know you can't just go around the edge because you've got two guys there. That's numbers, right? Football's a game of numbers. Can't go against two. Not ideal. You want to go the path of least resistance. So Danielle Hunter, being the freak that he is, says, okay, I will simply go from a Euro step into a spin and then obliterate your quarterback. Now, Cooper Rush does get the ball out to his credit, but maybe he shouldn't have because this ball gets put up in harm's way. Doesn't get brought down by Derek Stingley. You look, the tight end here, I believe Luke Schoonmaker, ends up getting a hand in there and forcing an incompletion. Still not a safe throw. You have, 3 defenders in the area there? But regardless, the obvious point here is outside foot, inside foot, goes back outside, spin move, gets to the quarterback. A fucking Euro step into a spin against a double team. Craziness. Absolutely crazy. And obviously, I'm not the first person to point this play out. The NFL posted it. I've seen people all over the internet being like, wow, look at Danielle Hunter, how crazy he is. But I haven't seen many people point out that he did a Euro step earlier in the game as well. And this was kind of like the build off of that, because Steele kind of knew what Hunter wanted to do. Not saying that Steele would have been able to stop Hunter if he did it again, but having Zeke back there makes it a little bit harder because you do have 2 people you got to beat. And Zeke, for what he is, he's still a good pass blocker. So regardless, a really good play there by Hunter. Shame it didn't end up in a huge sack. That would have been like a career highlight. But still, this is one of the more impressive pass rush wins I've seen. Definitely one of Hunter's best. Ironically, probably not the best I've shown in this video, though. I still stand by the Penei Sewell rep being something special. But this, in and of itself, is also very, very special in its own right. All right, let's get simple. Let's keep it simple again. Good rep here by Big 55 out here on the left side. Once again against Terrence Steele. Surprise, surprise. We're going back to Steele. This time he's just saying, listen, man, I'm quicker than you. I'm more athletic than you. I'm more flexible than you. I'm beating you to the outside and you're not going to stop me. So he's just going to bend the corner, gets up underneath of Steele, makes Cooper Rush uncomfortable. Rush is able to dump this down to Zeke, but it's for a very minimal gain. 2-yard gain, I believe. Just a good, simple rep. Something I'm including to show that he had a bunch of pressures in this video and also pad out my video a little bit. And finally, once again, attacking the outside shoulder of Terrence Steele, we have Danielle Hunter lined up out wide, not wide up, outlined. Lined up out wide. Words are hard, especially when you're not feeling 100%. But I digress. Getting back to Hunter, he's going to play the outside shoulder of Steele here. He knows that Steele can't keep up with him. He can't keep pace. So he's just getting underneath of him, bends the corner. Show that one more time. Just bends the corner a little bit, dips the shoulder more so than anything, and then just wraps up Cooper Rush. This is the end of the game. This is literally the second to last play of defense for Houston. The next play, Danico Autry sacks Cooper Rush and puts it away. But still, he said, listen, I've had a great game today. I'm not leaving here with just one. I need a second one. So Terrence Steele, who's already beaten and battered and embarrassed, he looks at him, he says, I got one more in me. And he puts him in the dirt, effectively ending the game. Again, they get one more play. Danico Autry brings down Cooper Rush, but this is just a demoralizing play. When the team you're up against has already beaten you to death at home, and then you get something like this to happen, that's just upsetting for the Cowboys. But man, is it great for the Texans, who have an absolute monster opposite their other monster, who didn't play in this game, but won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, and is already one of the best edge rushers in the league in Will Anderson. Having Hunter and Anderson on the same D-line is insane. And, I'm glad that the Bears got their game every 4 years against the Texans out of the way, because hopefully Hunter, who's a little bit on the older side, won't be in Houston anymore next time the Bears have to play him, because that duo scares the shit out of me. But regardless, I hope you all enjoyed this film analysis. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Do you think Danielle Hunter is one of the, 5 to 10 best edge rushers in football? I think this year it's pretty hard to say he hasn't been. He's leading the league in pressures, been very productive, been very disruptive, very good player, good against the run. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Also, let me know down in the comments, are there any players you want to see me check out? You know, I'm trying to vary my uploads, but I end up just falling back into wanting to talk about linemen because that's what's fun to me, you know, whether it's offensive or defensive. And also make sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video, as it helps out the channel a ton, shows your support, shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. And also make sure to subscribe for more weekly film breakdowns. This is going up on Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, will be Fullback Friday. You won't want to miss that. And also, we're making that push for 1,000 subscribers. We're relatively close to it, so if you're not subscribed already, I really would appreciate if you did, so we can hopefully hit 1,000 by Christmas. That's my Christmas wish. You know what? I'll start saying that at the end of videos. We're starting to get to that time of year. If you can help me hit 1,000 followers by Christmas, I'll do something. I don't know, but it would be greatly appreciated if you would subscribe. And to everyone out there watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people, and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback.
This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder.
Wow. Using that